Good afternoon. So, as we spoke this morning, okay, I want to tell you make a review about our four guides that we did in our unit number one. Okay, for this, we're going to check and see again on my English Lab platform to check unit one and two in that platform. Okay, my English Lab, don't forget. So for now, we're going to begin and seeing I want to share a screen with you, and we're going to check on our guides and what they say about it, okay? Remember, the first thing that we need to see in our guide number one is the present perfect, okay? How to do or to assemble a sentence in present perfect tense, okay? So let's go back here, okay? And we're going to share one more time and check on this, all right? Okay, here we go. We're going to begin with present perfect for indefinite past time, okay? All right, let's go ahead and watch this. Okay, so pay attention to this video.
Today's lesson is about the present perfect for indefinite past tense. Before we start, let's talk about traveling. I love to travel. I have visited 24 countries. I have traveled a lot. But my younger brother David hasn't traveled that much. I have visited 24 countries. I have traveled a lot. But my younger brother David has not traveled that much. He has visited a few countries. We use the present perfect to express an indefinite time in the past. That means that we don't say exactly when the event happened. For example, I have visited 24 countries. We use the simple past tense to express a definite time in the past. This means we say when the event happened. I visited Ecuador last year. We form affirmative statements with has or have plus the past participle.
Okay, remember in this part that we already saw, right? We can include to begin forming a sentence using our present perfect. We need to include the subject, which can be a pronoun, I, you, he, she, it, we, you, and they, or a noun, okay? As a David, Mary, any name that you want, okay? All right, and then we have to add our verb have, okay? For the third person, we pronounce it has. This auxiliary verb have, okay, has to go after our pronoun or our name, okay? In has, we use it for which is a name or he, she, or it. For I, you, we, and they, we're going to use the verb have, right? And then we're going to include our verb, okay? It has to be a past participle verb. In this case, we are using a verb in past participle form, but it's going to be a regular verb, okay? For this, we choose our verb travel, all right? And we added ed to make it a past participle, all right? In fact, our verbs, our regular verbs, the only thing we need to do, they stay the same. We need to do is add d or ed or ied, okay? And then the last part of the sentence. In this case, will be a lot, okay? So I have traveled a lot, right? In this case, which we are talking about he or David, okay, third person, we're going to say David has visited a few countries, right? Let's keep going with our video, see what else she's going to provide to us, all right?
I have traveled a lot. David has visited a few countries. We form negative statements with has not or have not plus the past participle.
As we can see here, when we are doing or writing negative forms, okay, or when we are talking in a negative way, where you need to add only our negative nouns, okay? So in this case, remember, affirmative was David has traveled a lot. But if we are saying that he hasn't traveled a lot, we're going to say it like this. David has not traveled a lot. Or in this case, my parents have not visited Peru. Okay, let's keep going.
David has not traveled a lot. My parents have not visited Peru. The past participle comes after the verb have or has. The past participle of regular verbs is the same as the past tense and end in ed, like traveled or visited. We usually use contractions or short forms in speaking and in informal writing. For example, I is the short form of I have. He is the short form of he has. Has and not contract to form hasn't. Have and not contract to form haven't. I've traveled a lot. He's visited only a few countries. David hasn't traveled a lot. My parents haven't visited Peru. Look at the affirmative contractions with all subject pronouns. Look at the negative contractions with all subject pronouns.
As you remember, this morning I assigned, using our platform, my English lab, assigned these courses to you. So if you want to, after watching this video, you want to watch the other one, okay, or the same video one more time, okay, or as many times as you want, okay, you can do it. Just going and signing in our platform, my English lab. You can check all this, okay, situation. Let's stop here, okay, and we're going to check our next video, okay, which is how to answer when we ask something in present perfect time, okay. So let's go and check on this video again, okay.
Hi there. Today's lesson is about asking yes, no, and information questions with the present perfect. Have you studied English before? Where have you studied? To form yes, no questions, we put has or have first. Then we put the subject and the past participle. Has he studied English before? Have you used English at work?
As you notice here, in an affirmative question, affirmative sentence, right? We used to have he, then the verb has studied a lot, just to make a confirm that he did that, okay? Or she or this thing, all right? But when we have to write it as a question, we're going to move our verb have or has, okay, at first or at the beginning of the sentence, okay? In this case, it will read, has he studied English before? Okay. Or have we used English at work? Okay. And then we make the right pronunciation, okay? Or intonation as a question, okay? Let's see how she answers all these questions, okay?
We can use short answers for yes, no questions. For example, we can say, yes, I have, or no, I haven't. With negative short answers, we almost always use contractions. To form information questions, add a question word or question word plus noun before has or have. Where has she studied? Which schools have they attended?
Okay, as we can see here, she has been adding the WH questions, like where, what, which, who, okay, when, etc. Okay, so as we can see, we are finishing with this grammar coach, which is information regarding questions, okay, in present perfect, like the one we are seeing, right? We saw here using all verbs in regular verbs, right? Let's watch a video using irregular verbs, all right? Let's go ahead again.
Hello. This lesson is about the present perfect with irregular verbs. The noise is so loud. The noise has stopped. I think they've driven away. No, they haven't gone. The verbs in these sentences are in the present perfect tense. We make the present perfect with has or have in the past participle of the verb. The noise has stopped. I think they've driven away. Oh no, they haven't gone. Regular past participles are formed the same ways as the simple past tense and end in ed. For example, visit, visited, talk, talked, stop, stopped. But many common verbs have irregular past participles. For example, the past participle of be is been. The past participle of go is gone. The past participle of speak is spoken. The past participle of drive is driven. Here are some more examples of irregular verbs, their past forms, and their past participles. I know it's difficult, but you'll need to memorize these.
Just as she said here in the video, okay, the past participle verbs are many. It's more than 100, probably more than that. And the only way for us to use them is memorizing them, okay? So we need to memorize all these verbs, but with practice, we can get it, okay? So let's finish this video. We're going to sample next one, okay? Just to watch a little bit more. Okay, sorry about that. All right. So we have now a comparison between the present perfect versus simple past, how they interact and how can we use them. Okay, so let's watch this last video over here. All right, let's get them now. Okay, and we will talk about present perfect.
Hello. This lesson is about the present
Sorry,
perfect with
I
irregular verbs.
made a mistake here. Okay, sorry. So we're going to go present perfect versus simple past. Okay, sorry about this. Here we go.
Hello. This video is about the present perfect versus the simple past. How many continents have you visited? I visited 3: North America, South America, and Europe. I was in South America last July. I visited Bolivia and Argentina. How many continents have you visited? I visited 3: North America, South America, and Europe. These sentences are in the present perfect tense. I was in South America last July. I traveled in Bolivia and Argentina. These sentences are in the simple past tense. First, let's talk about the simple past tense. Look at this sentence and the diagram. They arrived at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock is before now. It's a definite time in the past. Now let's look at the present perfect. They've arrived. In the present perfect, the action is past, but there isn't a definite time. Here is another difference between simple past and present perfect. I saw 2 films last week. I've seen 2 films this week. The simple past is for repeated actions completed in the past, like last week, yesterday, or in 2011. The present perfect is for repeated actions in the present, like this week. This week means so far or until now. Finally, look at these sentences. He was in South Korea for 2 years. He's been in South Korea for 2 years. The simple past is for actions that started and finished in the past. In the first sentence, the speaker is not in South Korea now. The present perfect is for actions that started in the past and continue until now. In the second sentence, the speaker is in South Korea now.
Okay, just as a reminder of what she said right now, okay? And we can say simple past is for something definite, okay? We know exactly when she was in a specific, or he was in a specific time, okay? For example, as she said here, he was in South Korea for 2 years. We know what he did. He was there for 2 years, but he is no longer there, okay? And for present perfect is a time in the past, okay, or a situation in the past where he's been there, but continuing, okay, doing it or living there for until up to now, okay. That means it's in the indefinite time, right? We don't know if he's still he began in the past. We don't know exactly when exactly began in the past, and it's up to now still living there. Okay, all right. So we finished with this video. All right, we're going to close it over here and continue. Okay, this is regarding our present perfect. Okay, for the next lesson that we saw as well, it is how to greet a visitor to your country, right? Or tourist activities. Okay, but we're going to make we're going to check here on our present perfect using ever, never, and before. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Okay, remember when we saw so greeting a visitor to your country, we can check also in our book, okay, like from Top Notch book. This is the book we are using, okay. This is our page in person, and we can also check our pages. Don't forget to write it down, okay. For example, and unit 1, guide number 1, number 2, okay. We can use and check pages 7, 10, and 11, okay. For our guide number 3, okay, we can check on pages 12 and 16, okay. And guide number 4, we also have pages 19, 20, and 24, okay. Also, if you have a problem trying to find more irregular verbs in present perfect, okay, or past participle, we can go up to page 123. All right, so let's take a look at this video. All right, and we will continue watching a couple more, and then this is going to be the end of our class for today. And next week we're going to have another class. Okay, don't forget that our schedule for our tests, okay, that'll be from March 15, okay, to 19, okay. From 15 to 19 of March, we will having our tests, okay, from our final exam from our unit number 1, okay. So let's take a look at this video, all right, okay, and see what this is about.
Hello. Today's lesson is about the present perfect with ever, never, and before. I'm going parasailing next weekend. I've never done it before. My friend Yolanda is coming with me. She's never tried it either. We're both a little scared. Have you ever tried parasailing? Was it fun? Notice the adverbs. Have you ever tried parasailing? I've never done it before. She's never tried it either. Ever?
Okay. Adverbs are this, okay? Ever, never, before, okay? All right, or yet as well. Remember, we already saw this in class. We know what they mean, how to use them, okay? Some of these can be used in the middle of our sentence. Have you ever? I have tried, I have never, she is never, or she has never, okay? All right. And before goes at the end, and yet as well, okay? Remember this. Let's continue with our
Never and before are adverbs of time. We use them with the present perfect tense. Have you ever jumped from a plane? I've jumped 3 times. Ever means at any time in your life. We use it in questions. You can use a number in the answer. The opposite of ever is never. Have you ever jumped from a plane? No, I've never jumped from a plane. Or, no, I never have. Notice the word order. Ever and never go before the past participle. Other adverbs, like before, go after the past participle. Have you skied before? Yes, I've skied many times. In the present perfect, before means at any time before now. It is the same as ever. Have you skied before equals have you ever skied?
as you can see here, there are 2 ways of asking the same question, okay? For example, using before and ever. Both are different, but they mean the same, okay? Have you skied before? She forgot to put the interrogation sign here, okay, or a question mark. Is the same saying, have you skied before, as saying, have you ever skied? All right? In translation might change a little bit, but the meaning of the words or their sentences are the same. All right? So let's go and let's watch one more here, okay? Always using already and yet now, okay? All right.
Hello there. This lesson is about the present perfect with already and yet. This is a list of things I need to do today. I've already gone to the gym, called my parents, and watered the plant. But I haven't spoken to my boyfriend Jason yet, and I haven't bought groceries for dinner. I'll do those things after work. We often use already and yet with the present perfect. I've already gone to the gym, called my parents, and watered the plant. I haven't spoken to my boyfriend Jason yet, and I haven't bought groceries for dinner yet. Already means something happened before now, or before this time. We use it in questions and in affirmative answers. It comes before the past participle. Has Lisa already called her parents? Yes, she's already called them. Yet means something did not happen before now, but it may happen sometime in the future. We use yet in questions and in negative answers. Has Lisa spoken to Jason yet? No, she hasn't spoken to him yet. Don't use yet in affirmative sentences. Lisa hasn't bought groceries yet. Not. Don't use already in negative sentences. Lisa has already gone to the gym. Not.
All right. So we're going to finish sharing here, okay? And as we saw, we have checked several forms, okay, and ways to speak using our present perfect form, okay? We saw already, yet, before, and never. Also, okay, we saw how to make questions using and how to answer them. short answers. Also, we saw how to make short questions instead of saying I have, pronounce it I. Okay, she has, she is, etc. So by next class, we're going to end watching and reviewing our guides. Okay, number 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. For this is it for now. Okay, and I hope you study a lot and prepare yourselves for the final test from Unit 1. Thank you very much. And as I told you this morning, please check on your assignment. Okay, it's just as a review and to check how to learn how to use this. Okay, the way we speak, okay, is the same way we speak in English and in Spanish. Right. The only thing is just the language, but the meaning of those words are the same. Okay, and they are also they are called the same way in Spanish as they use it in English. Right. So this is it for me now. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in our next class next week. Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.